Ebenezer Shemi Ewo YouTube or say Father for all poor and widows. God bless you for your good services to the people of Ghana. Rebecca Ferry said, oh, I could say it again. Anna Charles Afeji said, God bless our homeland Ghana. Or him or YouTube. Aku Williams said, as if the president-elect hasn't been in power before. He has.
To be coming in because of us the vice is in.
Abi pimu onene nire.
Nti wohwɛ sɛ nkɔfoɔ bɔ gye gu wɔn bɔ gye wɔn so.
Sanso.
Nti wohwɛ abusua wɔn bɔ gye wɔn so fɛfɛɛfɛ sɛ wɔn ayɛ adeɛ so ɔde nyame bɛda na sɛ wɔayɛ adeɛ. Nti fɛfɛɛfɛ
Onam kwan so basara.
Nti no abusua then enche bia the president of the land,
The vice president of the Republic of Ghana and His Excellency Dr. Muhammad Baumia.
Pray for Allah house our own access to Bachi.
address to the nation under the 8th Parliament. And ɛda itwa to Nana ADDO Akufo Addo and the Vice President.
missing me, they'll miss me. They've already told me. And
you've had interactions.
yes, I haven't had a proper vacation. So now I'm resting. After that, we'll see.
Well, thank you very much. That's the Honorable Prez Akufo. She is the Member of Parliament for Ablekuma West, outgoing. She will not be in that 9th Parliament, but has been speaking to a host of other things, which include 5G technology. A lot of you have been asking that question, really, with respect to when you are going to see it activated on your phone. She says that, look, her part has been done with respect to the infrastructure. It's a whole big service. And so now the telecom companies need to be able to enroll on it with respect to what you should be seeing when it comes to 5G services as well. But with respect to what it is that we're expecting, we get the indication as well that the Vice President has arrived now and will be has made his way into Parliament. We'll get full confirmation really with respect to what it is. But we also know that Joseph Osei Wusu is as well making his way to Parliament. We'll seek to get his thoughts as well with respect to expectations ahead of the President's final State of the Nation address, and then be able to pick thoughts for you as well in respect of exactly what's expected, what's expected to happen. But for now, like I mentioned, there's expectation that any moment from now, members of Parliament have begun trickling in. There's a difficulty really in being able to grab a number of them because of the nature of arrangement, where there are so many entrances through which they could be making their way into the Chamber of Parliament. But we're live here from the legislature, seeking to be able to bring you expectations of members of Parliament as we build up to the final State of the Nation addressed by the President. We've heard from outgoing Minister of Communications, Prez Akufo, but First Deputy Speaker Joe Wise is here as well.
Oh, Ghana Constitution say, Oman na Juma Berry ya, Omebua Konta, and the State of the Nation address, large yana ya Kontabu, Timmy anymore, and say, and no mahora way in Fine from me. The Shisha, the Sika Semadru, the Indian Swakudu, and one over wire money.
What by Akubu, as in the next Parliament, it be first year, 7th January. 6th night, midnight. Would you could be? What would you say? I could tell you about Ghana for much me and then what's your expectation for the next Parliament?
And now I'm penny reckoning in Tabu. Yem Rashibijum had yes, you couldn't usually, yeah, a bulu of your hair. You didn't give me a lot better than the Yaye as a Parliament. I mean, you're for front of make a damn 8th Parliament with a Jumaya and some many. And a beer, 9th Parliament, said the Mitchum say, Ghana for the ever money, man be brain with me. Exactly, it's an American. Let's say, I can't say the open money be brain with me. Juma. 7th Parliament was Sahina will be brain here to me. Juma. Many does only say it's only to me. Juma. Now different from Sah and Tokwa parliamentary.
Right.
Ania. Masumbi, my baby. Where my baby, I mean.
And if they call it to be the 3rd or 2nd or 1st Deputy Speaker.
Deputy MP, Deputy Speaker.
Let's the Speaker break. It be a
on my Juma, dear, many we perceive me, I'm a Juma because I'm a saying kind of prayer. And Merania who dear would dear on my Juma. So they move from Puyawa with Juma, obey your default. Public service, Sebi, or your Maya Qua, and Osum Sakwa, and Masumbi, a year. But
there will be a lot of new faces in Parliament in the next Parliament. Do you think it will affect Parliament?
About Parliament, my age, baby for but the Parliament, the Jumano dia. This is also from Mutim. Timbana Timpani for and chain. See a W buffalo. Sinus answer. Tiomun chain, Tilbia, the echoes of Gramming Hunusu. Busano said there be a wages or the faha. I can't get I'm confidence by. It is only a willing so binya that just young penivona say. Met me a boapa.
Party can be for the one you campaigned for. In fact, no for your more because they felt said, we chairman supposed to feel what they are saying your back and by. We are one of those who didn't like it. Yes. It's now pay what campaign man and I am for.
Well, let me say, because a campaign man, I know I stand in a dodo. Me position is a Nipano or Twaswa or Hunijumano said there, they say a man who has a Ubusian. Busian is on your free now. Into my position is a soppy, and one ma Yahunya ding. Into a woman more, no by a money affair. Yamon to us. That was all I campaigned for.
Right, you know, I say.
Honourable, if we could just a few words in English in terms of expectations ahead of today, and then perhaps we'll cover a lot later on other matters. What do you expect from the President today to his final State of the Nation address?
Well, like the State of the Nation as of today, a State of the Nation as he is leaving it, right? So it is accounting for where do we stand in these numbers, where do we stand, where did we take it from the last year. If he were continuing, would have done that in March. But because he is leaving, he is required by the Constitution to come and give account of the last 4 years. So I expect that he'll give an account of what we've done in the last 4 years.
In terms of the 9th Parliament, you are on record to have said that you've not been so pleased with the work done by this 8th Parliament. Your expectations for that 9th Parliament, considering the attrition rates that we've seen and the concerns across the divide that it could affect the work of Parliament, particularly on your side where there are quite a number of new faces and the leadership which some of you had will not be present in helping to keep the government on its toes?
The first thing is that I believe strongly that if you have a person who is willing to learn, within a short period, they will master the game. Right? So my expectation that with the large numbers on one side, they should be able to set goals they can achieve. You may have heard me argue earlier that I'm not happy with this 8th Parliament. I'm not satisfied because we wasted too much time on frivolous matters. This is the 9th Parliament is new in structure, and this structure should give them the opportunity to work harder than we did in the 8th Parliament.
And in terms of the leadership, we've seen it maintained as well. What's the resolve you have that they can be able to lead the NPP business on the floor of the House and being able to police the incoming government?
Well, my position has been that consistency and the length in leadership helps to strengthen the leaders. And so that was my argument, that 6 months you bring in new people with no experience, it doesn't help the leadership. So I advocated that they should let those who are in power continue. Let those who can and those who are in charge now continue. Because in the last 8-9 months, they have learned the rules. They have mastered a little, but they need a consistency to be able to perform better.
Your party has formed, what, a 12-member committee investigating the outcome of the elections. Your expectations of them as they begin work?
I expect that they will make time to listen. We are the players. We are supposed to understand how did it happen that we appear to have lost the loyalty of our everyday members. And you can learn and understand that if you are patient to listen to people. And I think that I'm confident that those who have been asked to will listen to particularly those who were ordinarily loyal to us, ordinarily voted in mass for us. How did it happen that so many of them stood back? How did it happen that many of the people who ordinarily would run queue to vote for us did not come out to vote? Those are the critical things that will form, and I'm confident that they will have the people. Many of them have been operational before. Professor Michael Kwe has been an MP, has been a leader, a speaker. He has been at various party levels. Vanto as being a player from the ground. So I know that they can listen and advise us. What did we not do right to make our party people those who are ordinarily loyal to us, not come out to vote?
You're retiring from Parliament. Is it goodbye in its entirety to any form of public service? And what's the next line for you in terms of action?
It's to retire into private service. Yes, you put so much into public service, the returns are peanuts. And you're even disrespected because you're paid the peanuts that you work for. So if you put in half of what you put in public service in your own business, you become wealthy.
Thank you very much, Honorable. Let's speak to the Honorable Haruna Idrisu as well, who is here. Honorable, many thanks for joining us. You're live on TV3. Expectations ahead of today, the President delivers his final State of the Nation address?
Nana Prez Akufo Addo, 8 years monumental failure as expressed by the Ghanaian people in the 2024 presidential and parliamentary elections. He's not been able to meet the aspirations of Ghanaians. That imposes huge expectations on President-elect John Dramani Mahama. But what today symbolizes is an enduring, resilient democracy in a fragile economy. Our democracy is growing, and our democracy remains a model for many West African countries, if not in the world. But our economy is at its poorest best. And that imposes, as I said, a burden on President-elect to come and address the growing unemployment, the growing hopelessness of our country. It's my prayer and wish that John Dramani Mahama will convert the arrogance and intolerance of the MPP into strength of will. And he would also endeavor as president to build new momentum, new enthusiasm to spur the economy on a growth that allows for employment generation. And more importantly, exact accountability for and on behalf of the Ghanaian people. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's the Honorable Haruna Idrisu as well speaking to us today. And so we're beginning to see a lot more of the members of Parliament.
President, we will be a cost Nana Dankwa himself, a cost near me, I'm a cost. And Nana Dankwa, dear, any MPP Abaya. Oh, here need be so busy and even said that in another family. And then you can never take that from us.
Even though you must say, what you say, senior school, I be an answer, I was said, Okano. And for our four, they still have reservations. Said there was a propaganda. Name me called 40 years ago. Name me vacation classes. Akiola, Ola, Wisa, no Metramadi, the grandpapa school. Now I'm not trying to retire. But almost 4 months. 40 years ago, who passed exams now goes to the SCM penny to be a day student. 40 years ago, near the it's Granos, gas. Mamma, with a moment for propaganda in Ada and say, oh, mine. And then over 100,000 young ones are going to see any free school. What's it? Obi say, Obi say, yeah, my and Grana Casa. Mamma,
propaganda no and say on mine no. Say at the papa bar. Yes, he say, "What we say, I mean, can you move some because what's in another day with Jamaica? Free school no abuana amwa. And the obi office sala, obi afrancho, mikro, obi ofi oti. And can push your name for SHS that or copy or pass years answer was a leakage. Maybe cause kuna leakage no. Mama may have found content sell mine. The next thing, infrastructure. Momo mako school. Opa me city betoso. Me isika. Yenka infrastructure people abandon and adwire. And this can na mo question evidence entesa. Me resign. Some of me and for propaganda and carbon things are. Look at the road network in Accra. Look at the education infrastructure. Look at health. Now the bear Kumasi. Who have facilities? Our lunch economy of this country. Says here we are grocery. Case fresh catching we are seeing. So sorry. Economy says here a grocery. We are growing about twice 2016. 2016 year grow 3.2, 3.4.
That's a variable no different from 2016.
After COVID. I am on mine 14 a few years to Omoka. So on my way, I want you to be real. See, I'm sitting a few about to account with that. Winnie, yeah, dear, yes, I'm with you. Yeah, report in your morning propaganda. We slow. Oh, now social media, and no change. Where I make a great change story. I don't care.
But essentially, yes,
the essential in this education, I better. Essential in this economy, is better. Essentially, there has been peace. Essentially, infrastructure, rule of law. You are supposed to understand the rule of law. Supreme Court crackers, Musumiti, and then someone here. But now, 8 years, Minka say we be perfect. Ogas are yes, I want you know. Now, if I am training, if I am training,
Abusienti Ghana Mampani, His Excellency Nana Addo Akufo Addo, Woba.
I promise on my honor may you now resume your seats.
Administration will be aspiring, giving way to the new incoming administration by the NDC. Just in short, he's been led by his riders. This is how it's almost like all the time when he is appearing. You can see his dispatch from your shot just far ahead, but being led also, the procession is by the horses from the Ghana Police Service, right there in your shots. You can see the men on the horses dressed in blue and white and black trauter matches in the background there. His motorcade just arriving shortly from your shots over there. This is the last State of the Nation address by His Excellency the President Nana Akufo Addo. But worthy of note, I must say, that the incoming head of state, John Dramani Mahama, is not at the State of the Nation address. From what we understand, he is not in the jurisdiction, but the President is just arrived now in his vehicle. Vice had arrived a short while ago with his spouse, Samira Baumia. So the doors have been opened for His Excellency the President ADDO Akufo Addo and his wife Rebecca Akufo Addo, who just stepped out of the vehicle. But the President would be receiving the state salute before en routing into the chamber or being ushered into the chamber. You can see the IGP in your shots there, the CDS, they're all there in your shots. All would be given. These are state protocols or the protocols that goes with him when he is to give the State of the Nation address. And so in your shots over there, you can see the security available and ready to take the salute. Well, it is worthy of note that it's the Ghana Navy that is giving the parade for today, and the President would be addressed officially by the commandant of the troop. So Naval Lieutenant Colonel Opoku is the one leading the guard of honor. So the President would now go and do the guard, the inspection of the guard of honor, and he would be aided by the IGP, the CDS, and there from your shots you can see him doing the inspection of the guard of honor right over there. So the President, yes, this is his last State of the Nation address for his 8-year non-renewable term, which is in the very last one, and in some few days his term will expire, and he is doing this in front of the 8th Parliament of the 4th Republic. And yes, the expectation is for him to give a stewardship of what he has done for the country in the last 8 years. See him dressed beautifully in his black suit and white shirt, with the black tie to I mean, one of the favorite clothes that he wears very often is his love for the black suit and white shirt. So the President is done inspecting the guard of honor mounted by the Ghana Navy, led by Lieutenant Opoku in his shots there, and he is being aided by the IGP, Dr. George Akufo Addo in his shots, the CDS, who is also over there. And so right from here, he would be moving straight into the chamber, and he will be ushered in by the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Sumana Kingsford Backben. A host of the MPs are already seated in the chamber, but it's worthy of note, like we did say early on, that the incoming head of state, John Dramani Mahama, is not here. He's not attending the State of the Nation address. Yeah, he's short. Well, it's also worthy to note that yes, of course, I mean, in giving stewardship of what he has done for the ATS, the expectation of many is that
playing for your country, easy. Scoring, easy. Avoiding injuries.
Yura Mia Abechiano and Waneno Tuaso Ako na Omako Parliament inside our Sanso and Parliament in Pelifua Hodwa Aya 180 Parliament a year Speaker of Parliament and him and I want and I'm one more air corner. I'm ready money and also air person.
It's not a game, it's a rich thing. It's not a game, it's a rich thing.
Right-hand side of the Speaker of Parliament. That's where they are.
A lot of the MPs typically will be on their phones because MP job, Alasan Suhini on his phone in the middle there. So this is a close shot of Excellency Rebecca Akufo Addo and then Samira Bawumia and then the Chief of Staff. So you can say three of the most powerful women in the outgoing government in one beautiful photograph. Some security chiefs. We also see Secretary to the President and one of the President's lawyers, Ekoe Suman, in that shot as well. So from what we know, this will be going on until the alarm is sounded for the Speaker's entry, right?
Yeah, exactly. So now I believe they are in the waiting room, which is the holding room, of the speaker.
So the speaker, the president, and some of the key officials of state will be in the holding room.
Yeah, so they will be there in the speaker's chambers. They will have discussions. They will say, "Oh, you did this, blah blah." They're sometimes very, very jovial.
Okay.
And then when they finish, then the speaker, together with leadership, will usher the president into the chamber, and then the ritual will begin.
I think it's important for the viewers to see some of these things as well, because some of these help us to understand that beyond party politics, we have a nation to build. So you see the MPs in this great camaraderie, laughing, chatting, having seen each other for a long time. It would be nice to show us some shots of the holding room, just to show that, you know, this is what makes us a country. The fact that our leaders, after the bitter politics, know that there's the business of governance.
That's right.
We have entrusted power to these people to use it to steer the ship of state to a better outcome for our future. And I think that the media depictions help, because there's a lot of division in the way our politics is covered, and sometimes it presents a picture of that we are always fighting. Yes, there are alternative ways to which we want to develop the country, but for those of you who've covered parliament, you know that that's why you are sometimes very skeptical when people take positions in the public and run with it. You say, look, these guys, they are friends. This is politics they are doing. And some of the supporters don't understand it. So you support this side. They don't know that behind the scenes, these politicians are actually on the same side.
Exactly.
But they create the impression as though they are so different in order to weaponize your anger to get votes.
Exactly.
This is what they do all the time.
Yes, that's how they do that all the time. And after here, you see them having tea together. In fact, even before they come into the chamber, if you go to the cafeteria, you see MPs, MPP, NDC MPs sitting together, you know, having...
Describe the chairs. The CJ is sat there already.
Yes. So
there's a golden seat under the coat of arms. Then there's a brown one to the right, and there's another one with the blue...
so the one
cross.
You see with a blue cross, that's the seat of the Vice President of the Republic.
So Dr. Bamia will sit there.
Exactly. And then you have
the wooden brown one.
That's for the Speaker of Parliament.
The one directly under the coat of arms.
Yeah, that's right.
Then
no. The one directly under the coat of arms for the President.
For the President.
Yes. Then you have the black one for the Speaker of Parliament, and then the blue one for the
So in terms of power, President is first, Vice is next. Speaker is next, and CJ is next. But in the seating, President is surrounded by Speaker and CJ because we are in Parliament.
Exactly, because we're in Parliament, and the head of the institution is the Speaker of Parliament. His authority is preserved there and put in between the President and the Vice President.
We need to remind viewers about basic government. So we have the executive headed by the President, we have the legislature headed by the Speaker, and then we have the judicial headed by the Chief Justice. Yeah. So all the powers in Ghana are together. So this is a very powerful...
Exactly.
All the powers in Ghana.
Exactly. So this is ordinarily where we took the whole governance business from. You know, when the king was presiding, he was both the judge, the head of state, and then also the lawmaker. But you know, the likes of AV,
the king had all the powers embodied in him.
Exactly. Before they eventually decided, look, there should be something known as separation of powers, so that the person is not seen to be a judge in his own cause. So if you are the person passing the law, you are the person, you know, enforcing the law, and you are the person administrating the law, it becomes a problem. So then we had that division, and that's what has led us here. So we gave the powers.
So that's what I mean by separation.
Separation of powers.
So under a monarchy, the power was embodied in the monarch.
Exactly.
Because the Lord in the Bible says the Lord is our God. Staff. So the service chiefs are working behind the president.
Exactly. And then you have the
Honorable members, on your behalf, I want to warmly welcome His Excellency Nana Addo Akufo Addo, President of the Republic of Ghana and the Commander-in-Chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, to the House. Before I invite him to perform a very important constitutional duty, kindly allow me to acknowledge the presence of the following people. His Excellency, the President is ably supported in the performance of this duty by His Excellency, the Vice President, His Excellency Mahmoudou Bawumia, we also have the presence of Her Lordship, the Chief Justice, Justice Gertrude Tukonu, and for sure, we have the presence of the spouse of His Excellency the President, Her Excellency Rebecca Akufo Addo. And His Excellency the Vice President is with his better half, the spouse, Her Excellency Samira Bawumia. And I have with me my wife, the Left Honorable Madam Alice Ajua Yunus. Excellency, our leadership, the Chief Justice, is accompanied by her spouse, Mr. Francis Tokunu. We also have with us the Chief of Staff, Honorable Akusia Frema Osei Opare. We will not be joined by the chairperson of the Council of State, by his ably represented by our own veteran politician, lawyer, the person of Mr. Sam Okudzeto, Senior Advocate of Ghana. We have with us the evergreen former president, His Excellency John Agyekum Kufuor. It's very important on your behalf. I thank him for always being with us here in this house. He is always present anytime we have an important function in Parliament. And we are extremely grateful to you, Your Excellency. We also have another very important partner of us. She is always also ever present anytime we have an activity here. I'm referring to Her Excellency, the former First Lady, Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings. And we have with us here almost all members of the diplomatic corps that are here with us, and definitely you can see them at the important visitors public gallery. The heads of the various security services are all here with us, and we have a number of chiefs and queen mothers present in this house. We are blessed with the presence of our religious leaders who actually keep us healthy by always praying for us and making sure that the blessings and favor of the Almighty God remains with us forever and ever. With this, I'll now proceed to invite His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana, to deliver his message on the state of the nation. Your Excellency, you may do so now. Honorable members, please. This is a very important occasion, and you are in the house we refer to as August House, House of Honor and Dignity. We expect nothing apart from honorable behavior from you, and please, let's listen to His Excellency in absolute silence. I thank all of you for your compliance.
Mr. Speaker, it's my constitutionally mandated period as President of our country nears its very end. I come before this august House to perform my last official public duty. I'm grateful for the opportunity to give an accounting of my time in office, spell out the highlights of the state of our nation, and place on record the Ghana I'm handing over to my successor. In accordance with protocol and convention, it is good to see that my wife, First Lady Rebecca Akufo Addo, Vice President Mahamadou Bawumia, Second Lady Samira Bawumia, the spouse of Mr. Speaker, Mrs. Alice Adjoa Jonas Bagbin, Chief Justice Gertrude Tokunu and spouse, and justices of the Supreme Court, the representative of the chairperson, Mr. Sam Okudzeto, and members of the Council of State, Chief of Staff at the Office of the President, the Honorable Akosua Frema Oseo Parry, and officials of the Presidency, Secretary to the Cabinet, Ambassador Mercy Deborah Karakari, Chief of Defense Staff of the Armed Forces, Lieutenant General Thomas Opong Pipra, the Inspector General of Police, Dr. George Akufo Dampare, and the various service chiefs are all present. The Speaker, the House is also duly honored by the welcome attendance of the former President of the Republic, John Agyekum Kufuor, former First Lady Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings, and the Dean and members of the Diplomatic Corps. Mr. Speaker, before I commence my message on the state of the nation, I want to put on record that I am deeply saddened by the devastating fire at Kantomanto Market, which took place yesterday, and has left many traders and their livelihoods in ruins. My thoughts and prayers are with those affected, and I extend heartfelt sympathies to the hard-working traders who have lost their goods and investments. Government stands with you and will work with relevant agencies to ascertain the causes of the fire and to provide the needed support. As a nation that is unite in compassion and solidarity to help those who have suffered losses, together we can extend a helping hand to our fellow Ghanaians in need during this challenging time. Mr. Speaker, it is important to state at the outset that serving the Ghanaian people as president has been the greatest honor of my life. It has been one of great challenges and even greater triumphs, one that has demanded every ounce of my energy, commitment, and love for our beloved country. My vision has always been to see a Ghana that is self-reliant, prosperous, and united, a beacon of hope, democracy, and opportunity in Africa and beyond. That vision remains undimmed, and I'm confident that the strides we have made together will propel Ghana to even greater heights. Mr. Speaker, the first responsibility of a government is the safety and security of the state and its people. I'm happy to report that our country's territorial integrity is intact and all our borders are secure. In a neighborhood of widespread instability, it is no longer an assumption that we can make that our land will be safe and secure. Ghana, by the grace of God, remains the only country in the neighborhood that has not fallen victim to terrorist violence. It has taken a lot of concerted effort, and dare I say a lot of money, to enable us to protect our country from the ravages of the variety of terrorist groups operating and destabilizing other countries in the neighborhood. I wish to pay great homage to the security services and their ministerial leaders for the work they do every day to keep us safe. Mr. Speaker, it gives me no great pleasure to state that an important and integral part of the fabric of our society and the hallmark of our traditions, chieftaincy, continues to be a source of insecurity and destabilization. Upon coming into office, we worked hard with considerable assistance from the Committee of Eminent Chiefs, Otumfuo Asantehene, the Nairi, and the Yabonwura, to bring finally a resolution to the conflict which had blighted the ancient kingdom of Dagbon for many, many years. Bringing peace to Dagbon remains one of the high watermarks of my time in office, and I had been so looking forward to counting it with pride as the top of the list in resolving chieftaincy disputes and conflicts. Unfortunately, the sad situation in Boku must necessarily dampen any enthusiasm about the resolution of chieftaincy problems elsewhere. It is a matter of great regret and distress to me personally that in spite of our best efforts, the Boko conflict remains unresolved. Boko is unhappily not the only area of chieftaincy conflict. In judging from the experience of other parts of the country, it will require a lot of attention. It is clear that part of that process is the need to strengthen the capacities of the Ministry of Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs and the Peace Council, the two frontline institutions responsible for dealing with chieftaincy and other disputes. Mr. Speaker, in my inaugural speech at my swearing in my first term on 7th January 2017, and early on in that term, I made a public commitment to tackle galamsey, the phenomenon that had been ravaging our environment and destroying our lands and water bodies in the pursuit of mining our gold. I knew and was very much aware that fighting galamsey was not a universally popular position for a president to take. But I felt strongly enough about the need to protect our environment to say I was prepared to put my presidency on the line in the defense of our lands and water bodies. And indeed, Mr. Speaker, the fight against galamsey led directly to the loss by my party of several parliamentary seats in the 2020 elections, and to the makeup of this 8th Parliament, which affected the implementation of my policy agenda and impacted the second term of my presidency. I welcome the many loud converts to the fight against galamsey that suddenly appeared in the run-up to the 2024 elections. And I pray that more and more of us get to embrace the need for the protection of our lands and water bodies. As I have stated on numerous occasions, the fight against galamsey is not a fight against mining or the extraction of the gold the Almighty has so generously endowed us with. But we owe it to future generations of Ghanaians to extract our minerals in a manner that protects our lands and water bodies. I'm happy to be able to say that we have implemented some of the boldest and most progressive policies in the mining, forestry, and land sectors. As a result of these policies, we overtook South Africa as the leading producer of gold on the continent and have consistently increased gold production to reach an unprecedented 4 million ounces last year. Not only have we revamped dormant mines like the Obuasi and Bibiani mines, we have also worked to deliver the Cardinal Namdi mine, the first large-scale mine in northern Ghana, and the first greenfield gold mines in our country in more than a decade, with the ongoing construction of new mines in Ahafo by Newmont and Upper West by Azuma Resources. Mines in our country in more than a decade, with the ongoing construction of new mines in Ahafo by Newmont and Upper West by Azuma Resources. To add value, we've also concluded discussions with the parent company of Ghana Manganese Company Limited for the construction of a $450 million United States dollars manganese refinery at Nsuta. Moreover, the establishment of the Ghana Integrated Aluminum Development Corporation and the Ghana Integrated Iron and Steel Development Corporation has laid the groundwork for the industrialization of many of our natural resources. These entities are expected to generate significant revenue, create jobs, and enhance the value addition of our natural wealth. Each of these initiatives was guided by the vision to harness Ghana's wealth for the benefit of her people, ensuring a legacy of sustainable development for future generations. We continue to work to increase the forest estate of our country. Under the Ghana Forest Plantation Strategy, some 121,000 hectares of degraded forests were cultivated between 2017 and 2023. And under the Green Ghana project, over 52 million trees have been planted in just 4 years of its implementation. In 2023, Ghana became the second country in Africa and the third in the world to receive results-based payments from the World Bank Carbon Fund for reducing emissions. Under the Ghana Cocoa Red Plus program, we have also completed all the necessary steps under the voluntary partnership agreement with the European Union. And effective June this year, Ghana will become the first African country and the second globally to issue forest law enforcement, government, and trade licenses. Mr. Speaker, if arguments still rage over what there is to show for the fight against galamsey and the effects of irresponsible mining, there can be no such arguments about the introduction of the free SHS and free TVET programs. Another policy that did not have universal approval when I sought to introduce it on coming into office. However, I believe this is one of the rare occasions on which we can use the word transformational without any danger of abusing the word. We have transformed education, and there can never be a reversal, of the fact that some 5.7 million young people have gained access to secondary education who would otherwise not have had the opportunity, but for free SHS and free TVET. Indeed, my administration has also prioritized technical and vocational education and training, TVET, establishing 34 new TVET institutions and upgrading 62 existing ones to equip our youth with 21st century skills. Mr. Speaker, I'm proud that we were brave enough to have started the free SHS policy at the beginning of my first term and resisted the calls for a gradual introduction. I'm glad that we've removed from the Ghanaian mindset the belief that secondary school education is only for people from certain households and families. From 2020, when the first cohort of free senior high school candidates sat for the WACC, Ghana has consistently recorded over 50% of candidates scoring A1 to C6 in all 4 core subjects. This marks a stark improvement compared to the years prior, particularly the period when pass rates in core subjects were largely below 50%. This year's results, the 2024 results, have maintained the laudable trend from 2020. Indeed, only 51.6% of candidates achieved A1 to C6 in English in 2016, compared to a much higher 69.52% in 2024. For integrated science, the pass rate improved from 48.35% in 2016 to 58.77% in 2024. Mathematics demonstrated the most dramatic progress, rising from a mere 33.12% pass rate in 2016 to an impressive 66.86% in 2024. Social studies followed a similar trend, improving from 54.55% in 2016 to 71.53% in 2024. Moreover, the 2023 WACC results stand out as the best in the history of the examination. no amount of shouts will displace data. It will not happen. The data is there. As the best in the history of the examination, with record-breaking performances across all core subjects. It is obvious then that our reforms have not only expanded access, but have also enhanced the quality of education. I am glad that we have elevated TVET and STEM to where they properly belong, and that they will no longer be seen as the option for those who cannot make the top grade. We have embarked on the development of 20 STEM centers and 10 model STEM senior high schools across the nation, and also constructed 186 new science laboratories nationwide. The other day, I commissioned the Accra STEM Academy, which is destined to play a key role in the future of STEM education in our country. These institutions are designed to provide hands-on learning experiences with cutting-edge facilities. From coding to robotics, our students are being prepared for the demands of the 21st century. It has not been without challenges, but the results are evident. I'm delighted with the infrastructure transformation that has taken place on our school and university campuses. This was displayed in a dramatic fashion a few weeks ago when the Ministry of Education staged the simultaneous commissioning of 80 new educational facilities across the nation. I do not suggest that we have finished what we set out to do, but we have certainly established what a kindergarten is supposed to be like. We've established what a primary school should be like. We've set standards for what constitutes a JHS. Science laboratories are now integral parts of junior and senior high schools, and computer tablets are available for all school children. Mr. Speaker, now we know and accept that a public school building can be painted in beautiful and attractive colors. Mr. Speaker, we have aimed to make the learning and teaching atmosphere a happy one for all school children and their teachers. We spend a lot of resources on education in the past 8 years, and I'm persuaded that it is money well spent, and the long-lasting benefits for our society will provide the justification for the expenditure. Mr. Speaker, it is impossible to make any meaningful accounting of my time in office without reference to the COVID pandemic. With the passage of time, it is easy to play down the extent of the catastrophe that brought our world to a thundering halt and brought wild animals to lounge on highways. Do we remember that airports around the world were closed, and some 2 years after the formal end of the pandemic, worldwide shipping and cargo freight have not returned to normal? Schools were closed around the world, and it took courage to reopen our schools. And there are parts of the world that have not yet made up for the closure of schools necessitated by the pandemic. Probably, Mr. Speaker, the most poignant aspect of those times was not the fear that gripped us all, but the fact that we were unable to hold hands or hug each other, and we could not have funerals for our dead. It is worth emphasizing the point that with the help of the Ghanaian people and the guidance of the Almighty, we managed the pandemic in our country to the admiration of the whole world. Indeed, during the COVID-19 pandemic, Ghana emerged as a leader in Africa, managing the crisis with a balanced approach that prioritized lives and livelihoods. We were among the first countries on the continent to secure vaccines and roll out a comprehensive vaccination program. The establishment of our own vaccine manufacturing facility under the supervision of the National Vaccine Institute a body created by Act of Parliament in collaboration with international partners, is a testament to our resolve to build resilience in our healthcare system. In the spirit of transparency and accountability, a parliamentary audit was conducted on the accounts relating to COVID-19 expenditures, reflecting my government's attachment to accountability and effective stewardship of public resources during a time of crisis. However, the consequences of the COVID-19 upheavals on all aspects of our lives have gone way beyond what anyone could have imagined, and we're still dealing with the effects on the economy. But let me first deal briefly with the effects on the health sector. This pandemic showed up some of the alarming shortcomings of our health delivery system, and we've strived to seek remedies to ensure that we're reasonably prepared to meet the next emergencies. The most important intervention is the Agenda 111 project we have embarked upon that aims to place a hospital in every district. Out of the 101 district hospitals and 2 psychiatric hospitals on the project list, there are 99 district and 2 psychiatric hospitals where contractors are deployed and work is in progress. I'd hoped that construction would be completed on all of them, but that, alas, was not to be. I'm pleased to report that on December 5th, I had the utmost pleasure to commission 3 of the district hospitals. Progress of works on the other 98 active sites range from 5% for sites whose work commenced recently to 95% at other sites. I'm hoping that the incoming Mahama administration will ensure that the project is completed to put our health infrastructure on a sound footing. Furthermore, we launched the National Ambulance Services Revitalization Program, increasing the number of ambulances from 55 barely functioning ambulances to over 300, ensuring timely emergency response and saving countless lives. The strides in healthcare reflect our collective commitment to build a system that prioritizes the dignity, health, and well-being of every Ghanaian. Furthermore, we've revived the National Health Insurance Scheme, which at one point before I came into office appeared to be reverting to the days of cash and carry. The number of subscribers has risen from 10.6 million in 2016 to 17.9 million at the end of 2023. With the renewal of subscriptions being facilitated by a tap on the mobile phone and the scope of the scheme being broadened to include treatment for sickle cell disease, kidney dialysis, and childhood cancers. Mr. Speaker, our economy took a bigger hit from the COVID-19 pandemic and ensuing consequences than had been anticipated. And in 2021 and 2022, we were in unaccustomed trouble. Our economy, which in my first term had been widely acknowledged to have performed creditably, marked by the longest period of single-digit inflation, 7% average GDP real growth rate, and strong external balances, was on its knees. The government's difficulties in Parliament, with the slimmest of majorities, gave the impetus to the international rating agencies to trash us on their assumption that we will struggle to get financial policy measures passed through the legislature. We faced the problems we encountered with equanimity, took a deep breath, and decided to apply for an IMF-supported program, dubbed Post-COVID-19 Program for Economic Growth, PCPEG, in the middle of 2023. The implementation of the program so far has gone well, even as it has been challenging. We have passed successfully through 3 successive reviews of program implementation by the IMF board, with the most recent review approved on 2nd December 2024, leading to the disbursement of $360 million United States dollars. The fund has therefore disbursed a cumulative $1.9 billion United States dollars to date. At the moment, I'm able to say with confidence that the crisis is over, that the economy has recovered strongly and faster than projected. In order for me to be able to make this assertion, I must make reference to the debt restructuring exercise. It affected many bondholders and was one of the most challenging decisions my administration had to undertake. It was not a choice made lightly, as we were acutely aware of the personal and financial hardships it would impose on individuals, families, and institutions across the country. Many citizens had invested their hard-earned savings, and we fully understood the pain and sacrifices this exercise demanded. However, it became evident that without such bold and decisive action, our economy would have faced an even greater crisis with far-reaching consequences for every Ghanaian. This restructuring was essential to address unsustainable debt levels and to create the fiscal space needed to stabilize the economy and lay the groundwork for future growth. It was critical in ensuring that Ghana could meet her financial obligations, regain the confidence of international and domestic investors, and restore our economic credibility. Through the resilience and understanding of the Ghanaian people, coupled with the strategic measures we implemented, we have been able to chart a path towards the recovery that is underway. Today, we're witnessing the positive outcomes of the painful but yet necessary exercise. The economy is rebounding strongly. Our fiscal position is more stable, and our debt sustainability has significantly improved. These developments have provided a solid foundation for sustained growth and development, ensuring that the sacrifices made by bondholders and other stakeholders will not be in vain, but rather the basis of Ghana's economic revival. Mr. Speaker, the country is not broke, as some propagandists want